Hey guys, this is Coach Keita Busse with 180 Firearms Training, joined today by Sam Patrick Callahan of Callahan Training Group. And we've got Morgan. I'll let you introduce yourself. Welcome to the 180 Firearms Training Podcast.
Hi, thank you. So I'm Morgan. I'm 15 years old. I've been shooting three guns since I was 9 in 2017, and this is my second year shooting USPSA.
That's awesome. So I met Morgan when she was 10 years old, and she is exactly the same age as my daughter, Pixie. So I had quite a soft spot when she was in my class, and I was like, oh, she's just like Pixie. But yeah, she worked so hard and was so dedicated in that class. I was very, very impressed.
Yes. I love
that was the first.
That was my first class. And that was like right when I started shooting. So I had no clue what I was doing. So it was all brand new to me, and you helped so much, help me figure out everything and break everything down and just kind of find a starting spot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you came from three gun originally, didn't you?
Yes.
Yeah, so a little bit crazier up here. So I understand finding keto is probably like the best thing that started you off.
Yep. So three gun is kind of more in the past now. I haven't shot it in forever, but it's still a very special part of me.
I have the exact same sentiment at this point. I'm the same place as you.
So being 15 years old, it's a little bit different from most shooters who just have a job, right? You go to work for 8 hours, you come home. Of course, you have family stuff and, work you have to do around the house, but, you come home and you're just home.
Yeah.
You have to go to school, then you got homework. You're probably in sports besides shooting, I would guess. Are you?
I'm not this year because I wanted to shoot more, but
gotcha.
All the past years I have been, and that was hectic.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So I would go to school. I leave my house like what time do I leave my house? 7:30. I leave my house at 7:30, and then my school gets out at 3:25, and then I would have softball practice till 6:30 or 7, and then I wouldn't get home till 7:30, and then I had homework on top of that. And so that took up a long time because, I don't know, freshman year was really hard last year. Not sure why, but we had a ton of work. And then whatever was left over, I would kind of split between studying or shooting. So I can either or, which one am I going to do today?
And there's adults out there that don't have time. Yeah, there's full-grown adults out there, just to stop right there, that tell me they don't have enough time for 15 minutes dry fire a day. I like to hear that. That's awesome.
Yes. And we would play on weekends too. So my only free day out of the week was Sunday. And Sunday was when I would shoot. So
match day.
Right.
Everything was busy Monday to Saturday. And then I get my Sunday off where I go shoot.
Yep.
Hashtag no days off.
Yeah, jam-packed.
Yeah.
So this year's a little bit easier since you're using shooting as your sport.
Yeah, so now I just have school, and then I get home around 4-ish every day, and then I'll take a little hour break or whatever, and then I'll go train and do whatever I need to do with shooting, and then I'll do homework last. So it's better for me. So because I can go outside in the light when it's like not dark yet, and then that's when I can get my training in. I'll do homework and study when it's dark.
I like it.
That is super hectic. So I'm glad you figured out how to say no.
Yes.
Okay, I need to dial this back a little bit because you're 15 years old. You need to be having fun. And if it's not fun, why are we doing it, right?
Exactly.
I'm glad you found that balance. That's really good to hear.
Yes.
Yeah. And it's quite impressive to hear the discipline coming from somebody your age as well. But it does bring up something that we were curious about, was your training schedule and what your training is actually like, because you have a wonderful family that supports you. You get to go to the range. You're a young lady. You just said you get to finish a day of school, take an hour off, and you head to the range. What does your range day, your training day typically look like?
So the closest range to my house is actually 45 minutes to an hour away. So we only get to the range 1 or 2 times a week. It's been 2 times a week because like World Shoot is coming up and then just had nationals, so that was all 2 times a week. But like a regular schedule, like throughout the rest of the year, it's once a week, and it's either training or a match. Okay. And that's the only time I go to the range during the week. And then I dry fire like more. I don't dry fire a ton just because I still have school, but I try to dry fire every single day, and if not 3 or 4 days out of the week. And that'll range, like the times, it can be 15 minutes or it can be an hour. It kind of just depends what I have that day. And I usually go in my backyard, and I still have a backyard because I live in the suburbs of New Orleans. So my backyard is tiny, but I can get a little bit of yardage. I can get like 20 yards. And so I use targets in my backyard. But if not, I have the living room and the miniature targets.
Nice.
So those come in handy a ton too.
So you have a pretty regular training schedule, from what I understand. You're on it pretty much all the time. Even if you have a weird day or 2 off, you're pretty much on it on a regular basis.
Yeah, it's like regular. It's never like, oh, a week off here, extra here, a week off. It's like it's usually stays pretty constant.
Awesome.
So what are some dry fire drills that you really like to work on?
I like to I always start with like the oh my gosh, what's it called? The fast trigger press, whatever. I'm going mind blank, where you start on the target either with the trigger prepped or unprepped, and then you have your timer. And each time it beeps, you break the shot then. Yeah. So I always warm up with that, and I really like that. And I like a designated target drill a lot because that'll get my eyes moving and get my transitions on and finding my spot on the target. So those are 2 that I always do and I really like. And then the rest that I do, I kind of just a different array of targets every day, different partials, different no shoots. And I'll add some movement in. I'll do array shuffle, array move, draws, reloads. And it's kind of just like it's like almost the same training, but completely different target and arrays every single day.
Gotcha.
Cool. So pretty advanced stuff. I hear not basic stuff, complex skills, some building of stuff. I like that. That's very cool to hear.
I've been dry firing a lot of distance because of World Shoot really. Yep. I think they're gonna have like a lot of far targets and a lot of hard steel. So, and before nationals, I was doing a bunch of far targets, not a lot of steel, because my steel was good and then didn't shoot steel. Yeah. Anyway, so now we're back to like far steel and far partials.
Yeah, it seems to be a weird theme this year. I'm from Area 8, and I don't know, all the match directors have been just throwing stuff out at 30 yards all the time. So
Area 5.
Yeah, guys. Everybody tells us our Glocks aren't accurate, but
they work.
30 yards. So.
Yeah, and I wouldn't be surprised to see a partial steel where it's somewhat behind a barricade, and you don't have the whole steel plate to shoot at.
Just like half of the steel plate. Yeah.
Right.
That's why the IPSC stuff gets a little nasty like that, where they have the no shoot steel plate behind the steel plate. I love those kinds of things. I mean, you're a 3-gunner. We've seen that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that's how it was in 3-gun. It's like everything was weird and whack like that.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
It's like nothing brand new. It's stuff I've seen before.
So it's funny because that's something that I wanted to ask you about. Coming from 3-gun, USPSA seems, I don't want to say easy, but simpler, right? It seems much more focused. It's easier to get into.
Yeah, it's
less juggling.
Wait, okay. It's chill on the target. I'm like on the shooting aspect wise. It's super.
Not a 3-minute. It's not a 3-minute stage plan. It's now focused.
Yeah, it's not a 120-second stage with a 240-second part time, dragging this, jumping over that wall, laying on the ground, hopping up. It's very much 10-second, 15-second stage. Boom, boom, boom.
Yep.
But it's still challenging because you have so much less time to lose. Wait, hold up. You have
we know what you mean.
You can't make mistakes in USPSA. In 3-gun, you can make mistakes because your stage is 1.5 minutes long and it doesn't matter.
Yeah. A good gun transition or a bad one won't kill your day.
Exactly.
You don't have those 12-second breaks between guns to kind of mask it. I mean, you're young, I was young, I could run a little bit faster. So in 3-gun, that made a difference. Now, Your shooting has to matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how fast you are.
So I think it's just as challenging, just in a different aspect.
Yes. I call it simple, not easy. That's the thing. It's much simpler of a sport. It's just not, it's actually harder. I found it's more technical.
It's not easy. Yeah.
But it coming from somebody who's shot those weird target arrays before, you've seen moving steel, you've seen all that stuff. That's not new to three gunners, but it's new to the USPSA folks. So it's kind of funny to see, oh, I've seen one of those before. It might have been 8 years ago. I might have shot it with a shotgun, but hey, I've seen one of those.
So tell us about your national title.
So last year's, I guess, was like super hard prep all the way up to nationals, going in for fun, for experience. Let's go see how everybody else shoots. I just want to meet people, go shoot. Ended up winning. All that training paid off. Because I was training a ton. We were getting to the range almost 3 times a week, and we we're dry firing a ton. And it was super just like focus, because I had just started shooting USPSA before last year's nationals. I've been shooting USPSA for 7 months. So in that 7 months, I had shot pistol before, so it wasn't like brand new gun. It was like learning the sport, learning the gun, learning the things I needed to do that were different, the other people might not do. So that was that. And and then this year, the training, it was more lax because we couldn't get to the range 3 times a week this year. We could get there twice, and then the dry fire was good, and I didn't start, I kind of delayed my hard training a little bit. I don't remember why, couldn't tell you, but I started hard training a month and a half, maybe before that nationals. And we did a lot of far targets, a lot of more technical skills, because in that time I had kind of changed parts of my shooting, and I had started exploring what I could do. So the matches before nationals went awful for me because I was exploring my
trying new stuff.
I was exploring my speed in area 5. So I was shooting so incredibly fast, seeing nothing, not getting my hits. So then for the next area match, which is 3, I believe, I dialed it back and overcorrected. So I was going super controlled. I was seeing all of my splits, everything. My dot was coming back down to my target. I was over confirming. So the nationals was like, okay, I need to find my happy spot without having a major match. So I found my happy spot in that training, and I found how to shoot by sight, only shooting as fast as I could see and not pushing my speed, but
shooting to the speed
fixing
of your
everything. And that was kind of my fixed match, and it worked out well. And then 2 weeks after that was IPSC Nats. So 2 weeks after those IPSC Nats, I got my IPSC gun 4 days before IPSC Nats.
Oh my goodness.
Wow, that's impressive.
It's actually completely different.
I was going to ask, I know it's probably a Glock, but how different is the IPSC gun from your USPSA gun?
It is a Glock out of the box. Have fun, good luck. Don't change anything.
So what did your USPSA Glock look like then?
Slide cut, undercut, cut, stippling. Trying to think what else. Just super different. Oh, my trigger.
Style.
My trigger was half the weight in USPSA than IPSC. So IPSC, it's no slide cuts, no undercut, which actually made a huge difference because I have really oddly small hands, which is kind of weird because I'm not small, I'm tall. And so the undercut made a huge difference for me. So not having that undercut, I was like, wow, my grip feels completely different. I can't get as high up. And then the trigger was twice the weight. There's no slide cuts. And the mag release. I had an extended mag release because to get my thumb to a mag release, it's like a little catch and throw and catch.
The flip and catch.
Ordeal. So in USPSA, I drop my mag with my middle finger because my middle finger sits there on the extended mag release. But in IPSC, my finger did not reach it and could not press it like that. So I had to switch the way I reloaded. And everything was kind of crazy. And I had, I don't know, maybe 400 rounds through the gun before IPSC Nationals. We got to the range twice. Got
so
to
new gun, new
gun,
cut, new trigger, new spring,
everything.
International title. That's what I'm hearing.
Yes.
All right.
So we get to IPSC Nationals, and my gun is not sighted in. So I was like, this is great. So I'm like, and it's shooting super left. So I'm like trying to change it, like right, and it's still shooting left. So morning of the match, I switched guns. It's a gun that I've never shot before.
Oh my God.
It had 20 rounds through it, you know, just chrono at home. So I shot that during the match, and
wow,
it was fine though. So
talk about shooting on instinct. All right,
it was kind of
good for you.
But
That is awesome. It's a lot of adversity to come over after taking home an IPSC national title. I mean, that's pretty, or international. That's pretty crazy.
So what divisions are your titles in?
Last year carry optics, and then this year is carry optics again, but that second place. And then for IPSC is in production optics.
Okay, so your first national title, you won at age 14.
Yes. 14. And it was,
I love this girl.
Yes.
It's kind of crazy because I was new 14. I was 14 4 months. Like I was 4 months into the age of 14.
Yes.
Like I just turned 14.
You're still a baby. Oh yeah.
Which it was crazy. It was like,
and I recall seeing you guys at that match. I recall seeing you and your father probably at one of the vendors tables. And
probably,
you were relaxed. You were right. That was the funniest thing you could say. You're like, no, just coming in. We just came in prepared. I want to see what happens. You're right. I recall you guys just kind of hanging out, saying hi to people, doing your own thing, and just, oh, no problem. I'll just take home the title. Have a great day, guys.
Yeah, so I love to talk to people at matches. I love talking. I don't care who it is. I will talk to you. Talk to a wall. And that's what I love the most about shooting is I get to meet so many different people and so many cool people, and I get to talk to them. Yes. And we get to like exchange stories and stuff. So I think it's so awesome.
No, I definitely mirror that.
Co-host.
Yeah.
We got a new co-host, Sam.
I like it. Hey, she can talk. She talked well. No, I'm with her about that whole thing. It's I come from a lot of different weird sports. So like I come from just like mountain biking, skiing, whatever, lacrosse, like things that aren't on ESPN. And even though those are friendly sports, they're definitely not like USPSA where you meet some people. You can make friends that you'll see once a year at nationals or once a year at a regionals, and you'll pick it up and you guys will be best friends. You'll stay at an Airbnb for 3 days. You guys will have a great time. And it's a unique sport. It's very cool in that regard. I really like to see that. It's a interesting culture we have going right now. It's cool. Yeah.
It's cool because my brother rides dirt bikes, and today's his birthday. He's 13.
Oh, happy birthday! I like it.
So he started riding bikes a year and a half ago, maybe 2 years ago, and they met so many people. And when my dad's hurt and can't ride, people just come and pick him up. And my brother's like, I've met him once, couldn't tell you his name, but he just took me, and we're going to Alabama together this weekend. And I was like, okay. Like, wow, you are 12. What are you doing going with random people with a dirt bike? Okay. But he has found so many nice people and so many cool people in that sport. And then I was like, now you know why I love it. Yeah. Like, you know why I like USPSA and why
you guys are a very competitive family then. You guys come from a lot of competitive stuff.
Oh, yes. We're a very competitive family. Game boards get flipped on game night. There's no talking for 2 days. There's so much going on.
That's great.
We're very competitive.
All right. So now that we know for sure World Shoot is happening.
Yes.
And obviously you got a slot.
Yes.
What's going on with that? How are you preparing?
Yeah.
What are you expecting?
I don't know. Stage wise, what I'm expecting, well, they released the stages and like the pre-World Shoot, that thing, they released those videos, and that kind of looks like a lot of far steel and like stage wise. So I think it'll be very technical because it's like not 8 target array move it's very much one target, move, two targets, move, swinging steel, move. So I think that'll be super different, super interesting, but super fun. So we've been kind of doing like short positions with hardish targets. And I'm just excited to go to Thailand and meet all these other people who shoot, because it's like a whole new world of people that are shooting. And getting their aspect on it is going to be like, I think it's going to be super cool, because although like we don't have IPSC, I have learned that all different countries' IPSCs are very different too.
Oh, yeah.
Because at IPSC Nationals, I shot with a group of Canadians, and they're like, this is not like our IPSC. And I was like, whoa, y'all's IPSCs are different. What? So it's kind of like a new-ish thing for everybody. Like, it's a little bit of flavor from everything, which I think will be super cool. I'm really excited for that.
Yeah, and IPSC in Canada is different than IPSC in Europe. IPSC in Europe is different than South Africa versus Asia. They're all different regionally. It's just like if you go to a range in Florida, it's going to have a totally different flavor from a range in Washington.
Yeah. So I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, so,
have you ever traveled that far for a match yet, or is that going to be your furthest travel?
I have never been out of the country ever.
Awesome.
It's the farthest I've ever traveled for a match, and it's the farthest I've ever traveled for anything.
Good luck. We'll be pulling for you. I like that.
Thank you.
That's awesome.
Well, I did have a little chat with your dad. So I think they're going to take really good care of you, and they'll meet you at the airport, get you through with your firearm, make sure you're all set up.
Cool.
I talked to him about basically how to travel safely, especially with firearms, because you don't want to do something wrong and find yourself in trouble.
Always nerve-wracking. Yes.
Yeah, so we talked through it. I made sure he has a list of all the forms he needs, so he should be good to go now. He has a pretty clear list. I also, did you get a chance to try the drill ideas I sent him about like the swinging steel and the bobbing steel?
Oh, with using the paper plate?
Yeah.
So he did not show me drills or tell me drills or anything. He just goes, use a paper plate for swinging steel. And I was like, what? He's like, bring paper plate to the range. And I was like, okay, why? He's like, for steel. I was like, why not just use steel? He goes, no, swinger. And I was like, hold up, talk to me later about this. Why can't you finish the sentence? So I kind of just got, bring paper plate to range for swinging steel. And I totally thought he meant in dry fire. And I was like, why would I use a paper plate when I have steel? He's like, no, for when it's moving.
Yeah.
And I was like, what? He's like, no, the target's got to be moving. Shoot the paper plate. I was like, oh, like that makes sense. Okay.
Yeah. So most ranges don't have access around here being the US.
Yeah.
In our country, we don't have a lot of ranges that have swinging steel plates, bobbing steel plates, the kind of things that you're going to see in Asia. And it's very common there. And they also paint them in odd colors like blue, yellow, red.
Oh, yeah, I saw the blue.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, here you don't shoot the blue.
Right, exactly. So get used to shooting things in different colors. So.
Yep. We'll definitely do that this weekend. We've been painting our steel blue, and I kind of didn't even realize. And he's like, yeah, we're painting our steel blue. I was like, what? He's like, yeah. I was like, okay, cool. Awesome.
It was
weird. I told him it would probably be blue, but it could be yellow. Yeah. I've even seen it different colors on different stages. So like in Hungary for the, I don't know, European handgun championship, whatever it was, they had these little tiny square yellow steel. And then they would, when you shoot them, they fall in the mud, and they didn't have enough paint to paint them between each shooter like they're supposed to be able to. So they were just covered in mud, sitting there in front of the mud. So you're trying to pick out the mud from the mud to shoot your little steel.
Yeah.
So that sounds like a challenge.
And the yellow does really blend in with a lot of burns.
Oh, yeah.
It's really hard to pick out. So I would do yellow as well.
Okay, cool.
It's probably going to be blue, but they might decide to throw something else in the mix.
Yeah. Of course.
Better to be prepared, and it's just a can of spray paint.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. Most ranges definitely don't have those swinging steels, moving steels around. I mean, I have a lot of weird stuff in my range. I think I only have one or two moving pieces of steel like that. But what does your club look like? What is what is your culture down there in Louisiana, right? What's the home club look like down there?
Like a beach. It looks like a beach.
Cool.
Like it quite literally is a beach.
All right.
So it's super sandy. There's one range in Louisiana and it's down the bayou, so it floods super easily. And if it floods that week or the week before, there will not be a match because it gathers water and stays water. Like the range is in the swamp.
Gotcha.
So the other ranges are like local ranges are in Mississippi, and those are all like an hour to an hour and a half away. All of them really are super sandy, which is, I don't even know why. It's just super sandy, and it's always hot, but that's just because we live here. The bays, we have like a good variety of bays. We have one range that has like 2 huge bays. Like they're probably both like 50 yards long, like this way. None of the bays are super deep really. They have one bay which is like the classifier bay, or it's just like a really skinny bay that's like 10 yards long. That's or 10 yards wide, but it's super long. So that's a lot of like running courses. We have a lot of side to side movement more than forward, just because you can't get a ton of distance when you go forward. The bays like at most are probably like 25 yards deep. So it's a lot of side to side movement. A lot of close hoser stuff, but they'll put some bar steel to get some like distance, but they do a really good job designing stages, and they like to incorporate a lot of major match stuff into the locals, which is super helpful.
Yeah.
So
you have a lot of major competitors down there then, if they're taken from all the matches and all that stuff. You have some good match directors. You have people seeing these local or the major matches.
We have really good shooters here too. We have the Dupuy brothers. I don't know if you know them.
Yep.
We shoot with them a lot. And then a lot of local guys are really good too. So it's a good competition. Like it's never like show up and oh, I'm gonna win. There's no competition. It's like there's competition, and there's like 7 of us that's like, okay, I don't know who's gonna win this time. Like top 10 will be stacked like within 2%. So we have some really good competition.
Cool. And you have to drive for it, and then you have to work for it. So you have to make it count. You're making your training count. You're making your matches count. You're making it count. Not just show up in your backyard and go beat up everybody.
Yeah, exactly. I wish I had a range in my backyard.
On that sand, if you're shooting on that sand all the time, it's going to feel so much easier if you're running on grass or something else where you can really push off of aggressively.
You can feel like you can float when you're on grass. Like when you go from a sand bay to where the sand is like covering your ankles, and you go on grass and you're like, oh my gosh, what?
I can run.
Exactly. And when you empty out your shoes, it's like sand and more sand, some rocks and then more sand.
So is that range in the bayou, is that Nolatak, the same one that we went to, or is that a different one?
It's not. This range is in Donaldsonville, so Nolatak doesn't exist anymore.
Oh, really?
Yeah. They have not existed for a really long time. I think you came towards the end, I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
Like they probably closed maybe
It comes and they're like, screw this, we're not doing this anymore.
Yeah, they probably closed like 2 or 3 years ago. I don't know. They thought they were super bougie and charged a ton for people to shoot on it, and it was on like a motocross track. It was like behind a motocross track.
I actually got to race there while we were there.
They had the little go-karts.
Yeah.
It's a super cool place, and it was super awesome and super convenient. Just there was not enough people to go shoot there.
Yeah.
So very unfortunate. I wish we saw it. That was like 15 minutes from my house.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that would have been a great setup if, they mowed down that grass and got it cleaned up nice. That would have been cool.
That's where I learned to shoot 3-gun, because they had long range. I don't remember how far out it went, but I think I don't remember. Actually, I don't remember at all. Scratch that. Don't remember. And then they had some pistol bays, but I don't know. The pistol bays were like fairly new. Like they never had them until the end.
Yeah, I'm surprised. I'd hear when I hear this because I'm from New Jersey. So when I hear down south, I'm just, oh, you all have guns or shooting ranges everywhere. You're always shooting. And I hear, oh no, I have to drive an hour to a range. I have to do this. I have to do that. I have ranges. I have ranges within 50 minutes of me, 45 minutes of me. And I'm in Jersey, so it is weird. That's odd. Weird. It's a weird challenge for you, but I mean, it doesn't seem to bother you apparently.
Yeah, in Wisconsin, my home range is an hour and a half away as well.
Yeah, that's far. That's far.
It's a bit of a haul.
Yeah.
So tell us about your family and how they've been supporting you.
So my dad takes me to every match, obviously. And my mom is the headmaster, the approval. Can she miss the school? So she gives all the permission and all the support for, yes, you can go shoot. You do bad on a test, I'm taking your guns away for a week. I was like, oh my gosh, what? That did happen once.
That's awesome.
It did happen. She's like, you can't go shooting. And I was like, you can't do that, Mom. She's like, I just did.
But I'm the national champion.
I was like, so she's super supportive, and my dad's super supportive. He takes me everywhere, travels with me, makes sure I'm staying on top of all my stuff. My brother Tyler's just kind of there.
But I mean, it's awesome to hear that mom and dad support, because it's impossible to do the shooting sports in general as anybody under 21. I mean, it's impossible to do what you do, what we do. It's very cool to see. I grew up as a junior shotgunner, but I wouldn't have been able to do it without my dad driving me around and my mom going, go ahead. So it's cool to hear that that's still
like I can't drive.
Still out there. Yeah, you can't drive yourself. Yeah.
So yeah, they've been super, super helpful, and I wouldn't be able to do it without them. So
it's awesome.
Aww.
And
so
what about the companies that represent you?
So I have Primary Machine, which they are one of the most amazing companies ever. They do OEM and they do like slide cuts and dot milling, and they're also amazing people. Like they are so good, and they are make sure that you are getting taken care of. All the customers, me. And then I have some of my other favorites are Walker's, Virtual Casey, and GPS. Then I have Hunter's Gold. I love Hunter's Gold. I think everybody loves Hunter's Gold. They're at every single match.
Oh, yeah.
They're here for everybody. Then I have Johnny Glocks, who makes all my triggers and does amazing. Then I have Terran Tactical for my base pads, which they are chef's kiss too. And Trigicon Dots. And then Valhalla Custom for my stippling.
Well, you just answered a bunch of my questions then. So you
have
just Johnny Glock triggers
right off.
Yep. Yeah. Johnny Glock triggers though. I like to hear all this. Use TTI for your base pad. So all the stuff that people are going to eventually ask. Hey, you're the national champion. What's your setup like? What do I need to? What do I need to shoot a national champion? A Glock that's got a dot on it and some base pads. Some stippling to keep your hands. All right, Johnny Glock trigger. All right. Sounds pretty simple.
Yep.
Nobody needs any slide ride 2011s. They don't need them anyway. Apparently.
Glocks.
Okay.
Glocks.
I'm just taking notes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I'm going to take this moment to pimp my sponsor, Superbell Ammunition. At checkout, just put in Kita, Kita, and you'll get a little discount at checkout.
There it is.
Excellent ammo.
There's Kita. There's the little.
My Superbell.
Oh yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. It's great. Primary Machine's right down near you, right? They're down in Louisiana, correct?
Yep, they're actually in Morgan City, which is ironic.
There we go. Perfect. That's awesome. Yeah, I like those guys. I have my own guy who cuts my stuff, but the very first gun that I had cut for an optic in 2016 was Impact Machine, and I'll always remember them for that. So
they're awesome. Yeah, they're like 45 minutes away from my house.
Awesome.
So, they're awesome people.
So what are your plans moving forward from here? Obviously, you have the World Shoot coming up.
Yes.
So, do you have any plans beyond that? Or just kind of having fun?
Just kind of having fun. Maybe open next year.
Ooh, I like this.
That would be fun. That would be interesting for me. I would love to shoot an open gun. I have never trained with an open gun before. I've shot like 20 rounds, but I've never trained with an open gun. So I think
I hope somebody's listening right now, because I want to see you with an open gun in your hands.
I would like to see what I could do with an open gun, or kind of where I would sit with an open gun, because I've been told it fits my style of shooting more. And I don't know. I think that'd be super interesting. Dad, I need an open gun.
Dad, come on.
Yeah,
That's
so
great.
no plans for
Most
next year. Well, right now it's like carry optics. So mainly carry optics and then add some open in there. I was gonna shoot open nationals this year with my Glock.
Oh, and just go send it. I like it. All right.
I totally would have, and I wish I could have, but then World Shoot happened, and my mom was like, "You can't miss more school."
That damn school. Yeah.
No, we don't need it.
I love how most girls, when they're turning 16, at 15 years old, they're like, Daddy, for my birthday, I want a new car. When I turn 16 and you're like, Daddy, can I have an open gun?
I have an Atlas
open
Chaos.
gun, Dad. That costs more than your car.
Right? It
Well,
might.
That's great. Well, that'd be great to see because I could see you. You're right. The style of shooting, you're low. You keep on the move. I could see you with an open gun in your hands. Just go and send it. That'd be a fun progression to see. I could see Morgan just kind of like, all right, I'm good with this carry optic stuff. Let me see how fast I can go.
Yeah, I was like, even if you don't switch to open, but shoot open to learn stuff and carry it over to carry optics. Like learn
to go
speed
faster.
and open and carry it to carry optics. It's like that's true too.
It is true. So I wanted to revisit talking about Thailand. What are your concerns, worries, things that might make you anxious about this trip? Things that might keep you awake at night leading up to it?
Yeah. I don't know. I'm kind of just nervous to go to a totally different environment, and it's like I'm not necessarily nervous for the match itself. I'm like I'm pumped for that. Like I'm excited, but it's like Thailand itself. It's like this is kind of scary. We don't like. We're not going to speak the same language as everybody. It's going to be different. It's going to be a challenge. It's going to, everyone I've talked to has been like, yeah, their food, it's going to mess up your stomach. And I'm like, oh no, like I'm terrified for that. And I was like, I'm going to bring some of my own food with me. I don't know. But I don't know. I'm more just nervous visiting a completely different place because I've never had that experience before.
Yeah, you're gonna have so much fun. They're gonna treat you like a little princess. No joke. They're gonna treat you like a princess. And
that's good.
They all speak English. I mean, they might have some range caddies or something like that, or people resetting that don't speak much English.
Yeah.
But most of them are gonna speak English, so it'll be fine. As far as the food messing with your stomach, I've mentioned before on this show that if you're a white person and you don't usually eat rice for every meal, then you might not want to do that when you go there because they do serve rice for every single meal. You'll get pretty backed up if you do that. So.
I've heard it's super spicy. I was like, oh no, spice. We do spice down here, but I'm thinking it's a different kind of spicy.
Well, you don't have to get spicy food.
Yeah.
I mean, you can pick what you want. So when I travel to Asia, what I do is take 2 Benadryl after the first meal on the international portion of the flight. So then I eat something and basically knock myself out. So then I wake up and it's daytime, let the sun keep me awake. And every night, it takes about 3 nights. I take 2 Benadryl each night so that I sleep through the night. And there was one time, I think I was in Hungary or something. I got to day 3 and I was like, oh, I'm sleeping great. I'm just not going to take it tonight. Wake up at 2:30 in the morning, can't go back to sleep. And then I'm exhausted all day. So that helps with the jet lag. And it's really gentle. It's just a diphenhydramine. They put the same thing in ZQuil.
Nurse Kita.
Yeah, so take a ZQuil or a Benadryl. It's very gentle, just to help you sleep on the plane. And that'll help you reverse your schedule. Then you also want to have with you, if you go to the pharmacy, it's super weird because everything's in a different language. So you don't even know if you're buying ibuprofen or Tylenol or who knows what it is. So it's better just bring it with you.
Bring it. Yeah. That's a good idea. Yeah.
So I recommend bringing Imodium in case things go that way, and bring Senna Plus in case it goes the other way. I like Senna Plus because it's a really, really gentle, natural laxative, and it has docusate sodium in it, which kind of softens everything. Now that we've talked about poop on the podcast, we're great friends now.
Yeah, well, she goes, I mean, if you travel halfway across the country and you're ready, or halfway across the world and you're ready for a shoot, and then you're like, oh no, I don't feel good. That's a bummer. I'd be bummed.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You're ready to shoot. I know you can shoot. That's the least of our worries. You've never international traveled before. So take heed. She's good at it. That's for sure.
That's what my meals before I shoot are probably gonna be super basic, not gonna do anything adventurous before the match.
Keep it simple. You know what you're good at there.
Yeah. After the match, I don't care.
Have fun, party.
Yeah.
Taste everything you've never eat all the weird stuff you've never seen before. Before the match, nope. Rice and chicken and do your job.
No sauce.
Nope.
Yeah, and the traffic is gonna be totally nuts. Like everything packed together on the street, people running right up to your vehicle, and they have people in these, I can't remember what they're called, but they're like pulling you with a bicycle and you're in a little cart behind it.
Oh yeah, we have those here. It's kind of funny.
That's right. You do have those in New Orleans.
Yep.
Yeah, so it's really interesting. I told your dad he may want to consider getting a driver.
Yeah,
I can hire a driver inexpensively, and they just drive you around, and they're usually armed as well. Otherwise, you'd have to rent a car. And it's really tough.
Isn't the driving opposite there? Like,
no, I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
No, I think it's on the same side, but the traffic lights and stop signs and things like that, all those signage, those are just suggestions.
It's just chaos.
Oh, right. Sounds like my dad's kind of driving.
Oh, okay. He'll be fine.
Well, he might do just fine in a car. It's just the driving can be dangerous.
Yeah, definitely. I can see that.
So I set him up with some people so they can hopefully find him a driver if that's what he wants to do, or rent a car if he wants to do that.
Thanks.
I prefer having a driver.
I'm probably
princess experience, of course.
Gotta get through it alive.
Right. Yeah, you're gonna have so much fun.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And I mean, you're coming from only a couple years into the sport and you're already traveling halfway around the world to go represent a country in it. So that's pretty impressive. That's very cool to hear.
Super cool, kind of crazy. Thank you.
Yeah. I mean,
That's so cool.
it's cool to see somebody of your age putting in that kind of work and understanding the respect and the discipline it takes, because I mean, your dad can push you all you want, but I bailed out of the other sport I was in because I was being pushed. So hey, it's very cool to see, and it's definitely, talking to you, you can feel like, yeah, this is a little adult here. This is not one of the rest of your generation. Yeah,
well, thank you.
Good. It's very cool. I'm excited to see you guys go out there and finish strong. I know you will.
Awesome. Thanks.
I love watching all of my students that are going and see them battling it out and see who wins.
Like, I taught them that and I taught them that.
What is that? What is that?
Then I get calls at like 3 o'clock in the morning from other countries as it's getting closer to a big match. Because then I never sleep, because during the day it's people in the US, and then at night it's people from other countries. Like, what should I be working on now? The World Shoot's coming up soon.
Like, I don't know. So it's stressful for you too.
Yeah, but I enjoy it.
Okay.
I do online coaching. So I do video calls and I can watch them dry fire, see their setup, go through training plans, give them drills, things like that. But it is a never ending schedule because I have the international students as well.
Oh yeah. That is.
So I can't wait to see how everybody does and how much fun everybody's having. It's gonna be awesome.
The beauty of practice score. We all get to watch. We all get to
Everyone's sitting at home on their phone.
Yep.
Oh, do you watch scores, Morgan?
Nope. Never have. Don't plan on it. So I'm just clueless of everything the whole time I'm shooting a match, and just kind of shoot what I shoot. And if something is going drastically awful, my dad will tell me what I need to do to fix it.
Aww. Your dad's pretty cool.
Yeah, he's cool. sometimes.
Very supportive.
Yes, very, yes. He's super cool, super supportive.
That's very awesome.
Very grateful I can take him, or that we can shoot together. Not take him to matches, but that we can shoot everything together.
That's awesome.
You know, he actually told me that you're kind of weaning off of having him coaching you, and now he's starting to learn things from you.
I like to dry fire by myself. Whether it's the fact of I get more trigger time in because we're not going back and forth. I don't have to sit there and listen to his lessons of blabber repeating the same thing. I can come up with my own drills and I kind of just make my own plan, and I don't have to sit there and him be in the way. But we do always live fire together and train together just so we can see how everything in each other's dry fire is going, and just to have an eye to look out, because I feel like there's not a ton to look at in dry fire from like another person watching you, because it's like there's no recoil. You're kind of like doing your own grip and you're just telling yourself to grip. They can't see if you're gripping hard enough or not. And there's no shots. So you can? Really? Okay, you can. Maybe you can see grip pressure. Didn't know. And then there's like no shots on target. So it's like, okay, we'll shoot together in live fire. Tell me everything, how to fix it there. I'll tell you what you need to fix. And then we go and work on it and dry fire that week. And then we come back together in live fire and just see everything else, how that week went.
Awesome.
So support, training partner, coach, all kind of built in. That's awesome.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, Sam knows
and
I
chauffeur,
can see weird things. People watching are going to be like, you can't see grip pressure. And like, Sam's like, nope, she's a witch.
No, I've watched her do it. So
sorry.
No.
She's got the Hawkeye. She can see.
She does.
Like,
there's something in there. She's got a bionic.
Your muscles aren't contracting.
No, I'll do online training with people while they're dry firing, and I'm like, that one was a left Charlie, and they're like, I know. But how did you know that?
That's crazy. You can tell it, but that's I feel like that's super important. Dry fire is calling your shots, because makeups and dry fire are a real thing.
Yep.
Yeah, if you're not gripping the gun like it's going to go off, and if you're not calling your shots and being honest with your shot placement,
then it's no good.
Really doing you any good.
They'll just get you.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, that's one thing I think a bunch of like serious competitors were joking about on Instagram. They're like, no, your dry fire should be hard. You should be frustrated. It shouldn't be easy. And that's something that I guess serious competitors never realized we had to communicate. When I say dry fire, you mean dry fire. You mean it. You mean you're going to go and pretend like you're shooting. Some people are just, oh, pow, pow, pow. And then that's the end of the dry fire.
Yeah.
Like, more dry fire today, though. Why aren't I getting better? So it's,
I will leave my dry fire sweating and disgusting. And I'm like, ugh.
Yes.
Ugh.
My hands hurt. I'm like, my face is sweaty. Yes.
Yeah. It's like my hands will be, I'm like, all right, I need a break. I can't feel any of my fingers.
So coming from a national champion, you can hear it.
So what motivates you? A lot of people hate dry firing. What motivates you to start your dry fire practice? Do you have a routine that you just follow every day and you just automatically go do it because it's just what you do? Yeah. So I used to hate dry fire, and I don't even know why. And then I started dry firing on my own, and I enjoyed it. So I don't know. I just kind of put on my belt. I'm like, all right, now my belt's on. I'm not going to go sit down on the couch in this big clunky thing. So I guess I'll go dry fire. So I go dry fire, and then I get out there, and I'm like, oh man, now I'm interested. Now I'm having fun. Like, it can be a little bit hard to get started, but as soon as you start dry fire, you will be invested in it, and you will want to put in the work, and you just like won't stop. Like 30 minutes will go by, and it's dark outside all of a sudden. I'm like, I just got out here. Yeah, so I'll leave my rig on, like I'll dry fire for a while, and if I'm gripping really hard, my arms start to get a little sore if I haven't been doing a lot of the bands or whatever. Yeah. So then I'll go like unload the dishwasher or something with my rig still on, and then come back and revisit. So it's okay to take a little break,
do that too,
and then come back in.
I joke,
rest your hands a little bit.
I joke with a lot of my students that I put my dry fire pants on, and they think I'm like kidding, but I literally have a pair of like shorts that I leave an inner belt on that it looks like a fireman takes his pants off in the corner, and you could just like step into them and put them on over sweatpants and just like, oh, dry fire, and take them right off. So I think making it convenient is part of my secret to it.
Yeah, it's good to have a trick or something that sort of triggers you to go and do it.
Yeah. Mine's literally just getting up and putting the belt on.
Yeah, just having targets all over mocking you is always a good thing.
Right?
Yes. They're over there on my garage door. There's so many targets and steel, and then all in the living room. The living room is decorated with targets. Backyard's decorated with targets. My dad's room is decorated with targets.
I hope my wife
stops
getting mad at me for putting them all over the house. I'll get returned a pile at some point and be like, here, take these back, and they'll just be a pile like this from all over the house. Like, and I'll slowly start putting them back again. Yeah.
We have looking around. I think this is the only wall with no targets on it in my whole house.
Yeah, just because it's your background, right?
Right.
Yeah, we have like a stack of targets on the coffee table, and when people come over, they're like, why do you have heads on your wall?
I don't worry about it.
It's targets.
If I have to explain it to you, you won't get it. Just don't worry about it.
Yeah, it's just like, I think my mom gets slightly embarrassed by them. When her friends come over, she's like, take down the targets.
The decor is USPSA. Yeah.
It's like, it needs to be pretty in here.
There should be, well, maybe you could do like a picture frame that you can just flip it around, and then it's targets on the other side, and then flip it back.
So I'm thinking the exact opposite. I want USPSA wallpaper, but
right.
I think I might get kicked out of the house. But...
He wants the doormat that says USPSA on it.
Welcome. Yeah, it's the logo.
That's great.
Well, Morgan, is there anything you wanted to talk about that we didn't bring up? Anything you can think of that we missed out on?
I don't know. We covered a lot. Nationals
or something that we wouldn't know to ask you, maybe.
I think. I don't know.
Let me just spring that on you real quick.
Yeah, I know. Just I guess things I want to get better at, kind of. I think that's a cool topic. Things I want to get better at. I feel like I like my style of movement, and I think it's smooth, but my initial push off, my I don't know, oh my gosh, my mind blank, when you like leave a position.
Your explosion.
Yes, my explosion is not there. I don't have explosion, and I don't know why. And I'm really trying to work on getting that explosive movement and getting that out. And I don't know, I just can't seem to find that.
Which I think is only when you're in that deep sand, or is it all the time?
No, all the time. I just don't have an explosive push off. And I don't know, I've tried a lot of stuff, and I don't know, it's probably something that I'm missing or something that I just didn't put enough thought into. But it's really just, I like my smooth movement, but it's not an aggressive push off.
So do you do anything for your workouts?
So I did during the summer before school started, and I would go work out 3 times a week. It's like an hour, and it was it was basically all leg workouts. It was like core and leg, because I had a trainer, and I was like, okay, this is what I want to do. So it was mainly all legs, and I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if maybe I got the strength and I couldn't figure out how to apply it.
Yeah, I know me and Kita have some videos on YouTube. You can send her some of them. Box jumps. There's some things out there that for sure that we could like recommend to do. We made a whole physical video series, but things like box jump, things like skier jumps, ladders. So there's some obvious things, but some not so obvious things out there that, there's one thing that I'm not a national champion, but I move fast enough. I'm athletic for all intents and purposes, and that's what I lean on as part of like my strength here. So that's definitely something me and Kita can help you out with. That's interesting to hear that you have it nailed down to such a specific thing. And that's almost nice, because we can go, all right, so it looks like she's already cooking something up for you right there.
Yeah. So this guy on Instagram, I really like a lot of the drills, the footwork drills he does. It's Jason Fearheller, Feairheller, Jason Fearheller.
Okay.
So I'll send his profile to you on Instagram and check out his stuff. One thing I really like is where he talks about the angle of your shin when you're pushing off.
Yeah.
So that is probably one of the things that's holding you back. The other thing is you might be up a little too tall. So you can even Google drop and go. It's a technique they use in other sports to get themselves moving, is drop and go. But in our sport, we want to always be low.
Yeah.
So if you're not low enough, you're not going to be able to push off at the right angle.
I think it might be the shin thing or whatever. I feel like I get very aggressive. If you have ever seen me, like
you're
my
very low down,
interviews, I'm very much low and wide when I start. And when I shoot, I still stay low. I just don't stay as wide. Like foot. I always start super wide and low. But then it gets like closer, but I think I'm still staying pretty low. Like I'm never standing up. My knees are never like straight.
I think what me and Keita like to nerd out on is like the movement stuff. Not even shooting, like running mechanics. And I definitely I'm picking up what she's putting down. Basically getting your foot more underneath you for the explosive movement and getting the angle of your shin in the direction you're heading. And that'll be basically your start for learning to explode out of the position. Don't change how you move or don't change how you shoot, because that doesn't work. You're fine there.
Okay.
And also using the mass of the gun to pull you out of positions, leading with the gun, basically. You can sort of throw the gun and then that pulls you rather than leaving it behind.
Yeah. Okay. I know what you mean, because sometimes I'll feel like if I go to move, I'm like, wow, I'm dragging and I didn't even know, but that drag is intense.
Yeah, it sends energy in the wrong direction and creates a lot of drag. So throwing the gun in the direction you want to move, leading with the gun. You should look like you're being led around the stage by the gun.
Okay. I can work on that.
That was the one comment this last Sunday. I just shot with a group of guys, and he's like, "So I should be like following my gun around?" I was like, "Yeah, like it's your puppy."
Exactly.
All day long.
I'm a little gun puppy. I just follow it.
Super cool. Awesome.
Yeah, I'll send this to you. Check it out. If you guys watching want to check him out.
Yeah, that's one thing I've noticed
again.
has
It's
been lacking
Jason.
in kind of our... Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I'll spell it again because that was weird. It's Jason, Feairheller, and it's all one word. Jason Fearheller. And he has a lot of great drills for that shin angle to help you move much more explosively. Another thing is everyone's built a little bit differently, and some people thrive on explosive movement. Other people thrive on just flowing through the whole thing. So something else you can try if your body is just built to be a more flowy person and a less explosion person. I mean, you got to be able to do a little bit of both no matter what. Yeah. But you can try crossing over to get out of position and kind of start shifting your way out to get yourself moving sooner.
Yeah. Okay.
It's funny, of all the nerdy topics that all the shooters love, from ammo to barrels to all that stuff, we just don't pay much attention to this physical stuff. And then me and Keita are looking at like time on the table. I'm just like, no, come on. If you just put your foot here, put your body here. And it's definitely worth looking into. It's something that I've been doing with some of my students now, not even shooting. I've been taking people to the gym and now doing physical training to get people more stable and explosive because of those two things that we're talking about: into position and blowing out of position. And if we could just kind of, as shooters, start to pay attention to that stuff more, it'll be a huge help. It'll be a huge help to understand just the mechanics of running, how your body moves, how to better control that kind of stuff. Because you move and shoot so well that it'll only help you move and shoot better.
Yeah. Yep.
All right. So where can people find you if they want to give you a follow?
Right. So Instagram, it's Morgan Rose, the number 3, and then gun. Started back in 2017 with 3 gun. Morgan Rose 3 gun. Yeah, the name stays original.
So I'm so curious. What month were you born in?
June.
You are 1 month. When in June?
7th.
Okay, so you're like exactly 1 month older than Pixie.
That's
Really?
Yeah,
That's crazy. That's crazy.
that is so cool.
That is really cool.
All right, well, I guess that's all we've got for today. If you want to hold on, we can have a little chat.
Yep.
Thanks for tuning in. Like and subscribe.
Thank you guys.
Bye.